Hello, this is SY. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Story Protocol. We're building the programmable IP layer of the internet. And before I discuss what we are building, I want to just give you a context of the intersection of AI and intellectual property and what's happening to creator economy. We should be living in a digital renaissance, on-chain renaissance, with all these creators making a lot of money and doing what they love. With the advent of generative AI, exponentially lowering the cost of content creation, and now social media giving you a zero distribution cost in terms of distributing your content. And what's happening at the moment with social media, there are 3 million YouTube videos getting created a day, about 30 million TikTok videos getting created a day, and the media is extremely social, so everyone is looking at what other people are building and getting inspired and creating remixes left and right. So you see a huge abundance of remix content and also social media content. And not only that, as you can see from this video, I don't know why it's not working, but I'm sure some of you have watched this video with OpenAI Sora model, where you can create a very high resolution video at your fingertip. So now, not only everyone is a creator, now everyone is a creative studio, Hollywood level. And what's really the essence of AI, generative AI, is that it's a super abundance of high quality content. What took 150 years for photos to take in terms of generating a number of images, it only took 1.5 years for AI and 1,500 years for drawings. So when this is happening, there's an exponentially growing abundance of high quality content. And with this high quality content, we don't think actually the speed and performance of AI is what's a gating item. It's really the IP attribution, provenance, and monetization. Creators are making, let's say with Spotify, one stream, $0.003 per stream, and most of the creators are still having very, very tough time. And we actually think with the current unsolved problems in AI, actually the situation is going to get worse. As you know, AI remixing is happening. You saw Drake's deepfake song getting to #1 at the chart of Spotify and SoundCloud. Drake is not making money. The remixer, this song got pulled down instantly, so he's not making money. And there's Harry Potter Balenciaga making tens of millions of views. And J.K. Rowling is not making money. Actually, the creator cannot monetize this. So it's a lose-lose situation. And all this AI remixing is going to be very, very inevitable because everyone wants to actually create a remix out of high-quality remix very easily out of the content they love. And not only that, you see this huge tension between big copyright and big tech. New York Times suing OpenAI for regurgitating their content, and actually Getty Images also suing Stable Diffusion. You see Getty Images watermark everywhere with their content. And actually, back in the days, big tech actually took you to their website. Google takes you to their website with the search result. But now with the AI interface, you don't need to even go to their website. So all these websites are not getting any traffic, are very, very likely to die out if this, things continue. And this is the classic Napster moment. Like 20, 25 years ago when the internet got invented, 30 years ago when the internet got invented, everyone was downloading music for free. Everyone is using someone else's data for free, and all these foundational models are getting all the upside of this content. So this is a classic tragedy of commons situation, where we are taking all these commons, that is the internet, the commons of the data, and commons of someone's creative output. And actually, at this rate, no one at some point is going to have an incentive to keep creating the content. Because, they're creating content, but the AI, the OpenAI and Stable Diffusion to all these models are taking all the upside of all their creations. And, internet may become a barren land. In the same way, with Google, when they came and they took away advertising revenue for most of the newspapers, 90% of the newspapers were basically got wiped out. So to address this massive new challenge in the content economy, we knew we need a new intellectual property infrastructure. And when I say new IP infrastructure, that means a new way to create, incentivize creators, right? So I just want to give you a quick historical context. And when the first kind of the intellectual property layer that we saw is when the printing technology made duplication of the content extremely cheap. And you need the copyright law to basically allocate and give a way for creators to actually profit from their copied works. Only when the copyright law became the intellectual property and infrastructure for the new age of printing technology, you saw things like Charles Dickens, you saw things like Shakespeare. Now, where are we? Actually, copyright law can only cover everything from print books to social media. But there's 90% of the content on the internet, actually 99% of the content on the internet is going to be AIGC. And copyright law only knows how to think about mechanical reproduction. But generative AI is a generative machine, new creative machine. And you can't just like say, you can't basically cover with copyright law this, this kind of new mechanical production. You need a new kind of intellectual property infrastructure that can actually have the right kind of attribution, provenance, and contribution and compensation system. So our solution is what we call the programmable IP layer, which basically takes the intellectual property that is trapped in legal documents to an IP that is programmable, where the creators and studios and IP creators set their own parameters around the usage of their content, and all the licensing and the intellectual property relationships are actually automated and basically everything from AI models to software to creators can programmatically interface with these intellectual property. And I just want to basically give a more color on what we mean by this. And if you the best way to think about it is the first phase of Web3 is about programmable money. It's taking away all these financial intermediaries from bank to the lenders and so on. And what's really exciting is that there's a big difference between static dollar bill and programmable money. Money now has a built-in API. Static dollar bill cannot flow across different DeFi applications, but programmable money can be plugged into a family of DeFi applications instantly and flow across from Uniswap to Compound to Aave very, very frictionlessly in a permissionless way. But IP at the moment is still trapped in intellectual property kind of law. IP is still trapped in legal documents. You can't have one IP go from another and have the right attribution provenance and royalty sharing and compensation structure. And we basically enable IP trapped in legal documents to have a programmatic interface system with AI models to software all these things. And you may ask, did an NFT do this? NFT is just an ownership and scarcity layer. NFT is still trapped in JPEGs. So if you want, everyone talks about interoperability. Interoperable metaverse, interoperable IPs, composable IPs in Web3. If you want to take a Bored Ape to a new game, you have to talk to the Bored Ape owner, talk to the BD department of Yuga Labs, talk to their licensing department with the lawyers for a month. There's no interoperability. There's no composability. There's no composable interoperable layer of intellectual property on Web3. So it's still trapped. So what we are building is basically returning the static JPEG files, that is the NFT, which is just a pointer to media file, and turning into programmable IP where all these metadata of royalty, remix, registration, and copyright information is all enshrined into the NFT. So yeah. So actually there are two parts to this. One is the noun, and the other is the verb. So there's the two elements to this programmable IP. The noun is basically the essential metadata of the IP, the state of the IP. It includes the media file like the NFT, but it also includes various licensing and royalty sharing information for the IP that you can now permissionlessly frictionlessly interact with IP, and actually AI models to other humans or to other IP owners can just interact. So Now with all these nouns enshrined, how this is getting possible is through all these licensing modules we use, and how this is enabled is through token 6551 standard. So every now NFT has a smart contract wallet, which actually serve as a portal to our modules. And you can use our licensing module to royalty sharing module. So you can say, my data, this can be used for a commercial reason for AI models, non-commercial reason for this reason for this AI model. We want this kind of royalty sharing for this kind of AI usage. We want this kind of royalty sharing for this kind of different mediums. All these, through these verbs, all these licensing information, metadata, all these royalty sharing information will be now enshrined in the smart contract wallet of the NFT. And now we have a global IP registry thanks to this. And I just wanted to show this programmable IP license. We call it programmable IP license, which is kind of the safe notes of our licensing system. What Y Combinator has done with Safe Notes is that they actually really made seed investment easy. In the same way, we made all the licensing parameters and setting your content extremely easy and intuitive, and you can do it with one click. And now it's all machine readable, writable, right? And we didn't reinvent the legal system. If you really if you can't actually resort to Web3 dispute modules to get the right kind of Web3 attribution, provenance, and compensation, you can actually now resort to even courts to actually go after the violators of your IP. So with this in mind, what we now have is kind of like what we've seen with the DeFi ecosystem, programmable money ecosystem. We can now build a parallel creative economy, creative application ecosystem. So you can now imagine a world. So we had an application called Sakai, which is a generative AI-driven anime creation platform. That was actually, that won the Ethereum Denver Hackathon using all our modules. That kind of content generation platform can now create a bunch of anime characters, anime stories. Those anime characters now can actually get instantly plugged into an AI chatbot platform like MyShell, which we are also integrating. So MyShell creators or MyShell developer, instead of doing tens of thousands of character IP licensing negotiation to bring the Sakai characters onto their platform, they can just basically have their AI model read all these IPs and just instantly port those IP over and turn that into a chatbot, into their character AI style app. And when they commercialize it, all the royalty sharing, all the attribution provenance will happen at the back end using our protocol, right? So now what we have is a networked IP that turns into a network that transcend applications, that transcend mediums through programmable IP layer. So when you create an a character or a story or art image into our ecosystem, it's no longer a siloed IP. It's a programmable IP that's composable, that can get plugged into MyShell, to Magma, which is our collaboration platform, our Webtoon platform, Webfiction platform, to social media platforms like Tomo, which we're integrating with. All this IP can just now get plugged into all these applications without needing to talking to lawyers or getting approval from the application developer. It's all frictionless. It's all permissionless. We like programmable money. We have a creative programmable IP dApp parallel ecosystem. So now just to end the talk, I think 20 years ago and 30 years ago when Napster came about, the music industry was really devastated. And it's really when a small Swedish company called Spotify just did deals with 2 recording labels and showed an alternative vision for a sustainable music economy when really actually the music copyright problem got solved. In the same way, what we're doing with IP is showing at the moment, we're integrating about 20 apps, onboarding about 3 million users. We're going to try to show an alternative model, more sustainable model, where IP, when it's getting used by AI models to different applications, actually, they don't need to go through all these complicated lawyers or legal system or BD department or studio negotiation. They can permissionlessly do it and basically get the compensation needed for the creators. So we want to show an alternative economy as a proof of concept, and like Spotify, be able to scale like they from Sweden to across different countries very soon. So yeah, so what I would like to ask you is, if you visit Story Protocol, you can now see a bunch of different companies from Magma, which has 2 million users, to MyShell, to Sakai, which is an emerging app that won the Ethereum Denver Hackathon that's building on top of us. So yeah, feel free to reach out to our Discord, our website, and start building on top of us. Thank you so much.